Would everyone please rise for the presentation of the colors by the Valhalla and Galileo High School ROTC Honor Guard, the national anthem performed by the combined voices of the Flight Ensemble and City of Refuge Praise Ensemble, and please remain standing for the invocation by Reverend Cecil Williams of the Glide Memorial Methodist Church.
Father and our Mother God, we assemble at this time to be reminded of healing. The healing of a nation and the healing of a world. Healing that involves human life. A human life that is destroyed by vicious, destructive disease. We ask that at this particular time that the wounded souls will be healed, that the mind, the body, the heart, the spirit, the the technical and scientific information that some way, somehow, sooner rather than later, we find a way to bring our humanity in the healing process by which this disease called AIDS will, in fact, be brought to that which brings the physician to heal the wound. We're grateful for the experience of being reminded of this by symbols such as those of the ribbon. But we know that this is not enough, that really what we've got to do is much more work. And so we come together to get some understanding about the work that we must do. We invite your presence upon our lives. In this occasion, this is our prayer as we would pray. Amen and amen.
Please be seated. Excuse me. Thank you, Balboa, Galileo ROTC, Flyer, and Reverend Williams. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the first day of issue dedication and ceremony for the AIDS Awareness Postage Stamp. I am Scott Tucker, District Manager of Customer Services and Sales for the San Francisco Postal District. On behalf of the United States Postal Service, I would like to extend a warm welcome to all of you coming today. After listening to the opening musical selection by the Glide Ensemble and City of Refuge Ensemble, I am sure you will agree with me that they have set the tone for today's program. Let's give a warm applause for the musical group under the direction of the Halloween Choir. They will return for another musical treat later in the program. The Postal Service is extremely thankful to Reverend Cecil Williams and the Glide Memorial Church for hosting today's dedication ceremony. Reverend Williams has been a leader in challenging the community to face the AIDS crisis. In his 3 decades as pastor of Glide, Reverend Williams has transformed the church into an urban center which is a power advocate for the poor and people in recovery. The church has a food service program, a children's program, a crisis center, and an AIDS awareness program that has made Glide the area's most comprehensive nonprofit provider of human services. May I introduce our guest for today's program, starting on my right, Patrick Satterwhite from the Guerneville Post Office, Phyllis Jean Jackson of the Glide Woodland HIV/AIDS Project, Chris Sandoval, Director, Multicultural AIDS Resource Center of California, Janice Mercatani, President of the Glide Foundation, Arthur Hambrick, Pacific Area Manager, Customer Services and Sales, Reverend Williams, Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi, San Francisco Mayor Frank Jordan, and San Francisco Postmaster George Micucci. We are honored also to have with us today, seated in the audience, representing Congresswoman Anna Eshoo, Mr. Tom Tunney. Tom? I would like to draw your attention to the quilt paintings on display on both the right and the left in the church. The panels are provided through the courtesy of the Names Project Foundation here in San Francisco. Since 1987, the Names Project AIDS Memorial Quilt has memorialized the hundreds of thousands of people who have died of AIDS in the United States and across the globe. Since a great many stamps are dedicated to stamps events such as this, some of you may have attended the first day ceremony before, but if this is the first time for you, I'd like to tell you something about people. Over the years, the Postal Service has dedicated hundreds of stamps. We've held ceremonies in every corner of the country, in tiny schoolhouses and massive auditoriums, before crowds of several thousands and gatherings barely large enough to field a football team. And we've even held them in San Francisco. Last December, we introduced the Happy New Year stamp as a prelude to the Chinese New Year. Events like these are a reflection of the Postal Service pride. They offer an excellent way for us to maintain an essential connection with the entire country. Usually, one city is selected to have the first day of issuance. The AIDS awareness stamp is unique in that it is being issued in every city around the country today. Now, it is my pleasure to again introduce Reverend Cecil Williams, our host for this wonderful program. Reverend Williams is celebrating 30 years as Minister of Liberation of Blythe Memorial United Methodist Church. He has been on the forefront of change as a minister, a television personality, author, lecturer, community leader, and spokesperson for the poor and those in recovery. His commitment to meeting the needs of the homeless, those seeking authentic spiritual values in their lives, and his challenge to the church in the fight against AIDS have gained him national recognition. Reverend Williams.
Thank you very much, and welcome to the Tenderloin. When members of the Postal Service came to us to talk about the possibility of this program, we were very happy. Why? Because you see, we need you to come to the Tenderloin and help us to recognize that for many people of color, the severity of the problem of AIDS is very much a part of our lives. Combined with people of all colors, and we do have in the Tenderloin people of all colors who are afflicted with AIDS, who find themselves without people sometimes to talk to or support systems to relate to. We have a great task here in the Tenderloin to make sure that we provide not only a support system, but that we constantly reach out in new ways that would not prepare people for death, but would help them to live fully while they are alive. As a challenge. It's a great challenge to us to welcome people no matter what phase of AIDS or HIV that they find themselves a part of. I know that there are churches who find it difficult to welcome people with AIDS because they have theological positions that render them in positions by which they cannot reach out. They cannot reach out because they don't want to reach out. And they don't want to reach out because to be very honest with you, find themselves unable to be the real church, because the real church would be. So then those of us who are going to have to constantly reach out. Carol Nixon is here today from the Board of Supervisors. And the problem is that as we reach out, we will discover along with you that there are people who are in great need of our faces, of our hands, of our hearts, of our souls, of our responses. And so here at God, if you don't want to take care of the folks who have AIDS, we'll be happy to take care of them. I say that to any church in this city and in this nation. We will be happy. They are brothers and sisters. We love them, and we will continue to love them. So today is special for us because you see right now there are people in the Tenderloin exchanging needles that are dirty. And it's likely that there are people right now who are being infected with AIDS. There are people right now who are not practicing safe sex in the Tenderloin who may be infected with AIDS. No matter what the situation, God's going to be there leading the march. We're not afraid. If it means taking tests, we will take all the tests necessary. If it means having all of the health resources, we will continue to do that. If it means having the Postal Service come with a stamp, we will make sure we respond to you to remind people of the seriousness of the situation. I want to thank you for coming to the Tenderloin, and thank you for coming to Glide. Glide is a church that practices unconditional love to everybody. I see that one of the person that AIDS Project was named after just arrived, Dr. Carlton Goodland. So I want to thank you, Carlton. We love you too. Finally, I just want to say to the Postal Service or any other service, anytime that you want a little soul put in whatever you're doing, call on Glide.
Thank you, Reverend Williams. A year ago, our next speaker moved across the Oakland Bay Bridge, where he had served for 6 years as the Oakland Postmaster Division General Manager, to assume his new position as California's top-ranking postal official, and my boss, by the way. As Manager of Customer Services and Sales for the Pacific area, he oversees the operation of 10 district offices located throughout California and Honolulu. He directs his staff in meeting customer needs and providing a high quality of service to our customers. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Arthur Ingram.
Thank you, Scott, and good morning. And a special thank you to Reverend Cecil Williams and the Glide Memorial Church for hosting this outstanding special dedication. You know, it's appropriate to dedicate the AIDS Awareness Stamp here at Glad Memorial Church in San Francisco, where Cecil Williams has been a leader in the fight against this dreadful disease. The Centers for Disease Control Prevention recently reported that AIDS is the leading cause of death among American men aged 25 to 44 and the fourth leading cause among women of that same age. The AIDS Foundation reports that here in San Francisco, approximately 28,000 men, women, and children are currently living with the HIV infection. Since the Postal Service issued its first commemorative stamp in 1893, postage stamps have celebrated hundreds of important themes. We've issued stamps that have celebrated the milestones, the fundamental principles, and the extraordinary achievements that have shaped this great country. The Postal Service has a long tradition of issuing stamps to help promote important health and social issues. Today, December 1st, World AIDS Day, we're going to add to that tradition. In cooperation with the American Association for World Health, the Postal Service is issuing the AIDS Awareness Stamp. The stamp features the loop of red ribbon that has come to symbolize the global fight against AIDS. It was designed by Tom Mann of Warrenton, Virginia. The 350 million stamps are available today at 40,000 post offices across the United States. The stamps are printed in both sheet and booklet form. The booklet covers carry the telephone number of the Centers for Disease Control so people can get more information about AIDS prevention. Also, the booklet carries the telephone number of the Points of Life Foundation for people who want to volunteer to help serve their communities. Will AIDS awareness stamp stop AIDS? Sadly, no. Only people can stop AIDS. That change can only start with our personal recognition and acceptance of the problem. This stamp will help raise public awareness and encourage the action that is so necessary. Typically, the Postal Service wants people to buy and save stamps. But the value of the AIDS awareness stamp will be in its use, and it's a perfect stamp for Christmas. Not only will they carry our letters to their destination, they will carry a message of their own to everyone who sees them along the way. And that message is, we care about you. Find out more about AIDS. Protect yourself and those you love. Then help spread the word so we can stop the spread of AIDS. As these stamps begin their journey today from San Francisco and from other post offices across this land, they will serve as tiny reminders that AIDS is a concern to all of us. It is my pleasure to dedicate this AIDS awareness stamp on behalf of the U.S. Postal Service. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hambrick. Let's welcome back our choir for another musical number. Under the direction of Miss Alan Price, I present the combined voices of the Clyde Ensemble and City of Refuge Praise Ensemble.
Amen. Just before we come to sing, I want to make a quick announcement. Continuation of our recognition of World AIDS Day. this evening, with the assistance of Board of Supervisors and the Mayor's Office, we will be going to the Bill Graham Civic Auditorium at 7 o'clock, and we will be bringing what we have come to know now is the largest bill of gospel artists that have ever come to San Francisco. And those gospel artists have come dedicating their service, their time and talent to a benefit for agencies that outreach, particularly to the religious community where a great need is in this city. And it's a phenomenal event because what will be coming together will be the African American church and every other church, and the gay and lesbian community and the agencies that do work around HIV and AIDS. And for those that don't think we can work harmoniously, come tonight so we can prove it to you. That we've come together for a purpose, one single purpose, and that is to celebrate life and to bring a stop to this dread disease. 7 o'clock this evening, tickets go on sale at 2 o'clock today for those of you that don't have them, at the box office at 99 Grove. Come on, let's have church together. Is that all right? Tragedies are common.
choir is terrific. Thank you. Maybe we ought to have a little bit more of that. We are very happy to have with us today Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi. Congresswoman Pelosi has introduced several bills that have become law to authorize money for innovative healthcare programs involved in the fight against AIDS. And she has introduced bills to establish programs to prevent homelessness among people with AIDS. Congresswoman Pelosi, come forward.
Thank you very much. Following that very spirited rendition, I have to start off by saying thank God for Cecil and Jen. Thank God for have given so much to our community as caregivers and as teachers, is teaching our community how to love, as Cecil says, unconditionally. It is perfectly appropriate that this AIDS awareness stamp is dedicated here at Glide Memorial. It's an honor to be here with Carlton Goodlett, whose life was dedicated to making life better for all people in our community. And I commend him and the Glide Goodlett HIV/AIDS Project for the work that they do and for your presence here today, Carlton. It's an honor to see you. He's a very special person for the younger people and our audience here today. You will always be proud that you were in the same room as Carlton Goodlett, especially if Jan and Cecil are in the same room at the same time. The House of Representatives, we're allowed to speak for 1 minute. So in my 1 minute, which is a little longer than the usual minute, but not much, I want to tell you how pleased I am that the Postal Service is dedicating this AIDS awareness stamp. And that is coming at Christmas time, and when we send out our messages of goodwill, implied in that message is that we won't really have a Merry Christmas ever, or a truly Happy New Year, unless we rid ourselves of this dreaded disease. That should be part of our The Postmaster talked about AIDS awareness, Cecil talked about safe sex. That entire message has to go forward. And we have to also pray that we will allow our intellects to go forward to find the cure and to find the vaccine. We have to have the heart and the love to care for people with AIDS and HIV as the Glide Memorial does here and sets an example for the rest of the world, really. And we have to have the spirit that we're not afraid of words, that when we talk about prevention, that we mean true prevention and not prevention that talks in ways that are irrelevant to what is happening on the streets and in society. And we have to have the will and the willingness to learn from people with HIV and AIDS. They know best what's good for them. We must listen to them. My job is to carry your message back to Washington. Another job I have is to carry Washington's message to you. And so in closing, I want to quote a few sentences from President Clinton's statement today when he declared World AIDS Day. In his message, he said, "We need to ensure that all Americans will protect their lives and the lives of their loved ones by making safe and healthy choices. Government alone cannot solve this crisis. We must all look deep within our souls to find the compassion, the values, the spirit, and the commitment that will allow us to conquer this modern-day plague. I call upon every American, to join in the effort to fight the spread of HIV and to treat those living with HIV with dignity and respect. We all hope and pray for the day when we discover a cure and a preventative vaccine. Until that day, which I know will come soon, we must all work together, strengthen our resolve to marshal the resources necessary to end the epidemic, and increase our compassion for those who need our help in the struggle against HIV disease." With that, the President declares declare today World AIDS Day. With this summons to action, we must all take personal responsibility for the care of those with HIV and AIDS and for the elimination of this dreaded disease. I look forward to working with you on that. Thank you for the opportunity.
Joining us today is San Francisco Mayor Frank Jordan. Mayor Jordan has put his stamp on AIDS awareness by forming a new AIDS advisory panel that will coordinate the financial, service, and other components of the AIDS crisis in San Francisco. Mayor Jordan.
Thank you very much, Scott. Distinguished members here who are with me, Reverend Cecil Williams, Jan, Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi, all of the postal officials, all of the care providers for AIDS and HIV services, Supervisor Carol Mignon, and so many of you who really do care. You are here, you're concerned. I only wish I could harness the energy, the love, and the caring that I see right here in Glad Church and burst open those doors and spread it every neighborhood of San Francisco the same way I see it here. You're focused and you certainly are dynamic in your resolve to try to help, not only with looking for cures, those of you in the health services, but those of you who are here because you want to show support and tender, loving care for those who need your help. I commend you, I salute you. I also want to talk about World AIDS Day. Just briefly, it is a World AIDS Day, but it's also a World Awareness Day regarding AIDS. And I really believe that the Post Office has picked an accurate time to distribute now the AIDS stamp, the ribbon, the red ribbon, because it will go out in a time when there is hope in the air. At Christmas time, there is a spirit of hope, and there is a spirit of giving, and there is a spirit of somehow giving more of yourself during this Christmas season. And I believe that it will, through their awareness, make a difference to bring more people into helping us, not only through prevention, but also education and in their own participation to help find solutions. I also am very pleased tonight that around 7:45, that as you know, as part of World AIDS Day, we will have the lights turned out at City Hall and all city buildings for 15 minutes, 7:45 to 8 p.m., in honor and respect of those who are now suffering from HIV or AIDS. I'm asking that all citizens of San Francisco turn out the lights as well for those 15 minutes so that we can think, stop, and pause a few moments to reflect. And also, we will be joining with all major cities around the country during those 15 minutes so that we can just be focused for a while to see where we fit in and what we can do to help. I want to come through with some terrible statistics, I suppose. Statistics may be dry, but they also are meaningful when we see what is happening every day in San Francisco. San Francisco has lost 11,496 people to AIDS so far. And in October alone, 245 new cases were reported and 137 people died of AIDS. These statistics are numbing. That's the best way I can describe them. But we must not forget that behind each of those additional statistics, someone's brother, sister, mother, father, or friends are involved. We have a long road ahead in our battle against AIDS, and a fight that I am confident we will eventually win. And as all of you know, San Francisco is in the forefront in this struggle. We established our own city needle exchange program, hopefully a model for the state of California. We're also creating a new joint HIV/AIDS task force. I know what all of us in the healthcare service are trying to do now with early intervention, outpatient services, hospice care, general hospital AIDS ward, and then helping with the other nonprofit service providers like the AIDS Foundation and Open Hand and the Shanti program. We are there, we care, and we want to be role models for the rest of the country. We're also urging the airlines to educate their employees about HIV and AIDS. Wherever we can find education and prevention, we want to be there. And additionally, I will establish an HIV/AIDS Healthcare Budget Advisory Committee, because I cannot think of any more important project than looking at where we spend our dollars, and that's a critical healthcare issue, not only here in San Francisco, but on the national level as well. So today, as we gather in a display of unity, our actions must speak louder than our words. For every person is an integral part of this diverse society that we call humanity, and it is here, alive and breathing and well at Glide Church today. So when one of us is stricken and falls, a part of each of us dies as well. So today, let us renew our dedication in the fight against HIV and AIDS, and through education and prevention measures, we must stop HIV transmission and care for those already infected. I thank every one of you for being here today and being involved and for making a difference, because you are. Let us all stay strong in our resolve. We want to do everything that we can to find a solution and to care for those who now need our help. Thank you.
Our next speaker is close to the hearts of the church, the hearts of the congregation member from Glide Memorial Church. Ms. Janice Mercatani is president of the Glide Foundation and executive director of programs at Glide Church. She is also recognized as a poet, choreographer, and an activist. Ms. Mercatani.
I also want to express my pride and my gratitude that the Postal Service and you, friends and extended family and activists from all communities, Dr. Woodlett, would celebrate and dedicate this stand for AIDS awareness, an affirmation of the national imperative to stamp out AIDS here at Glide Church. Your presence at Glide is particularly moving because you are here amidst those who have been marginalized, those who are homeless and poor, the new immigrants, all ethnicities, women, and of course we are all concerned with the rising scourge of AIDS among African American women, and the most vulnerable, of course, are children. You are here amidst those who are gathering up their lives, recovering and creating a community where their children and families can thrive amidst the greatest diversity of our city, and amidst people with AIDS who live their lives fiercely in the havoc caused by this disease. In all of our efforts to fight AIDS, hopefully this stand will be a persistent presence, another symbol, a reminder to celebrate life. The Glide Woodlett AIDS program asked me to write a poem for today's occasion, and I wrote a very short one, inspired by the words of Judy Grant. Ho and ho, poor death. I will not hold hands with you, do not embrace you, will not work for you or believe in you, end quote. For we have been thoroughly taken by life, death, so there is nothing left for you. We listen to our losses in voices like thunder. The face of the sky awakens. Names are written across our eyes, too many names. We speak in many languages that all understand. That greed and fear will not crush us, nor escape in our silences. Indifference and genocide will not be tolerated, nor neglect of any race or class or gender or sexual orientation. No, death will not feed on us, nor profit from us, because love has consumed us. Compassion ignites us, and we blaze like bright ribbons from the sun.
Chris Sandoval, Director of the Multicultural AIDS Resource Center in California. He is a 13-year veteran of the fight against AIDS and a civil rights activist. The Multicultural AIDS Resource Center of California is located in San Francisco and provides technical assistance and training to programs throughout California. Mr. Sandoval.
Muy buenos días. And I come before you as that veteran of the AIDS epidemic, and I can tell you as I look at the tapestries that we have hanging here, our wailing wall, remembering people with HIV infection that have gone before us as we commemorate this postage stamp. We recall the African American population and the losses that they have suffered, and the time to act is now. We remember the Asian Pacific Islander communities and the losses that they have suffered, and the time to act is now. We remember the European American community and the tremendous losses that they took in the first wave of this epidemic. The time to remember and the time to act is now. We remember my Latino brothers and sisters who have suffered from this terrible epidemic and suffered in this city and in this state and in this country. The time to act is now. We remember our Native American brothers and sisters. The time to act is now. And of course, we remember our brothers and sisters from communities of mixed heritage and from migrant populations. And we remember those losses, and we remember that the time to act is now. The bad news, folks, is what we're doing is not working. There's no blame, there's no shame. The time has come to come back to the table and to reinvent a response to HIV disease. The time has come to come back to the table and in the spirit of Blythe and in the spirit of love say to each other, let us forgive each other and let us move forward and let us create new history in this epidemic. Let us move the agenda. We have yet to create sustained behavior change in this nation. We are at Kitty Hawk, not Cape Canaveral, and we act like we're on the moon. We have not landed on the moon. We need to come back to the table and redesign prevention education in this nation. I also say to you today that the magic bullets that we're looking for are not there. But the magic of love in this church at this moment is a way to begin that magical tour, to begin to stop the spread of HIV infection. We need to build a multicultural, multidisciplinary approach to HIV infection. Let us look among our brothers and sisters who are lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and heterosexual. Let us put our issues of difference aside. Let us come together. Let us redesign an effective approach to HIV education. Sitting at the panel to help me convene a symposium on prevention education. We need to build a think tank of people who are infected, affected, people from multiple disciplines, from mental health, public health, from the streets, from outreach workers, and let us design an approach that's going to work for us. Because as we look at the numbers in this country, and we see that every 15 minutes someone dies of AIDS in the United States, that's not acceptable. That every 9 minutes someone is infected with HIV in these United States, that's not acceptable. That Latinos and African Americans make up 21% of the total population, and yet they make up 50% of the cases. That's not acceptable. It's time to look at the stamp, to look at the memorials hanging on these walls. It's time to really look at this and come back with a real self-examination of conscience and resources and say, let us dismantle the AIDS industrial complex that we have built over the years. Let us refocus on people living with HIV infection, their significant others, and their families, and let us come back and build a new kind of response, a response that works and saves lives. This is a wonderful event that we're having here today, folks. However, I don't want to come back here next year to report back to you the increased numbers. The time has come to act. Let's use the memorial stamp as a way to create new history. That's right. To write new history. To build new relationships. I say to you today that the real heroes in this epidemic are people living with HIV infection, and I'd like to have them stand up. If anybody is here is HIV positive in this room who would like to claim that identity, I'd like you to stand if you will. doctors, physicians, counselors, those of you that help people living with AIDS and their friends and their families, will you please stand? Let us acknowledge the unconditional love of people with people. Here they are. Let us give us their love and understanding and acknowledgement. And finally, I want those of you who are committed to reinventing a response to HIV infection to stand behind the Multicultural AIDS Resource Center of California as we reconvene a new attempt to build a new response to HIV infection. I'd like to have those of you that will stand by me and stand by this infected population, our brothers and sisters, to please stand. And let's acknowledge each other in this process.
Thank you, Mr. Sandoval. Our next speaker is a senior counselor and outreach worker for the Glide Goodlet HIV/AIDS Project and recipient of numerous honors in the project and recipient of numerous honors in the San Francisco AIDS community. Ms. Phyllis Jean Jackson and other staff members are in the community every day working to educate and inform people about the importance of taking care of one's own personal health. Ms. Jackson.
It's a great honor to stand in front of you today on World AIDS Day, and if my voice sounds full, it's because I am happy that we're now being recognized for the work that we do. But I just want to say to those people that think that the stamp that I wear is a status symbol or a dress code or something to just dress up the outfit. You see, I work in the Tenderloin. I work with the people of color, where the rest of the world turns their back on them because they need help. I want to challenge each and every outreach worker, counselor, or human being that says this disease doesn't affect them. I'm saying that it does, because there's not a person living that does not know what the AIDS virus has done to this world. Not only to our community, but each and every individual that I meet is affected by what's going on with the AIDS virus. I want to say to those people that think that this ribbon is just a symbol of gift wrapping, the ribbon is not a symbol of gift wrapping. This ribbon to me represents the many friends that I've looked down on as the organ was playing. This ribbon represents to me the love that has been pulled together by the few people that were willing to go out into communities like the Afro-American community, the Latino community, the Asian community, and neighborhoods like the Tenderloin, the Fillmore, the Bayview Runners Point, East Oakland, Richmond. I could go on and name them forever. But you see, it's very easy to use the ribbon as a quick fix and say I can buy a ribbon and people will think I'm helping. Don't wear the ribbon if you don't have the nerve or the strength to help. I've lost a lot of friends, and no, a lot of them weren't related to me by blood, but who knows? With all the denial that we're teaching right now in this world, there might be some members in my family that have died with the AIDS virus. I'll never know because a lot of people don't talk about it. But I do want to say, I'm not afraid, as my minister said. I'm not afraid to go out into the Tenderloin. I'm not afraid to go anywhere and fight for AIDS. We're opening a chain link, and we're challenging all the other churches. City of Refuge has joined with Glide, and we're working together to fight this. We're working together to fight this epidemic. There are a lot of links on this chain. I would like for you, each and every one of you, to go back to your churches. Open the doors up to the people that are afraid to come to church because they don't feel like they're welcome. You see, this ribbon also represents to me the work we do here at Clyde and the work that we have done with some of the other community leaders. This ribbon represents spirituality, and that's something that a lot of people, with their coward ways, have taken from people that are suffering of the AIDS virus. You've taken their spirituality. You won't support them in their sickness, and you're taking their spirituality. I want you to know that there are people like myself, people like this wonderful choir here, and people like yourselves that are in here today. This room should be full. So when you go out today with your stamps and your pens, let them know. If you're not doing the work, don't wear the pen. That way when we turn on our television sets, we don't have to hear people say that they're taking off their ribbons because they're only used to let people know that the AIDS is out there. Let people know what this AIDS virus is for. And let people know that you're wearing it because you plan to help in the fight. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Our next speaker is a postal employee from the Monterey and Kernville Post Office. I've known Patrick since 88, would you come to California? 83, 84, 85. Patrick I've known for a long time. Patrick has lived with HIV since 1986 and has been an AIDS educator since 1986. Patrick?
Overwhelmed. And I'd give anything in the world this AIDS awareness stamp were necessary. If we could all be out having our coffee and croissants somewhere today instead of being here, but here we are. 15 years ago, when I was shooting heroin and cocaine and getting drunk about 6 days a week, I never, in my wildest dreams, imagined that one day I would be here. God works in strange ways. In 1986, when I found out that I was HIV positive, it was like the straw that broke the camel's back, and I've been clean and sober ever since then. And as a part of that, I knew I had to give back to the community that supported me. And so here I am. And my boss in Monterey would probably have a heart attack if he saw me dressed like this today, because we dress a little less formal out there. And I should go back and see if he's going to have a heart attack later, or maybe I can be the boss then. I've had several weeks to prepare what I wanted to say today. And of course, I'm driven by ego, like a lot of people are, and I wanted to say something that I felt people would walk away from here remembering and thinking about. And all of a sudden, again, God works in strange ways, and I received a letter from a friend of mine in Portland who's in the late stages of AIDS. I refer to it as meltdown. And I was at work, actually, at the Kernville Post Office when I got this, and I read it. And I'd like to share it with you because to me it embodies everything that I feel is necessary about AIDS awareness. November 20th, 1993. Hi there, Patrick. First of all, I want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving. I sent a card for you and Jerry to his place. I will be with my folks and one of my brothers for Turkey Day. And Christmas is coming soon, too. Right now, my condition is somewhat fragile, having been in the hospital a couple of weeks ago with 2 types of bacterial pneumonia. After I gained enough strength to go to the eye doctor, I learned that I had CMV retinitis. So I'm almost blind in one eye and the other eye is failing. To slow down the progression, I take 2 IV therapies a day, which I do myself. It is difficult, but after another week, I will go once a day. The doctor told me that there is a good chance that my sight will last another year, only if I do the IV daily, but my vision will get worse. I don't think I will live that long anyway, but I still want to keep going as I enjoy my life in spite of everything. I'm getting evening meals delivered now and I'm hooking up with pals, volunteers to do errands or just come over for coffee. They will also cook a meal, do laundry, wash the floor, etc. That would be nice. Don is coming in December to see me. It's hard to have guests now, but this may be the last time I see him. My mother has told me that she wishes to make me a quilt. The Names Project quilt will be here early December, so my folks will go to see it with me. Mom is in need of specifications, etc. as to how to make the quilt. If you could do me a big favor by having the Names Project send me the information, it would be most appreciated. Thanks for all your help, Patrick. I'll talk to you again soon. You may share this with Jerry if you wish. Bye for now. John. And he put a little smile on the face on the bottom of the letter. Over the weekend, I was able to help put together the Names Project quilt with the AIDS awareness stamp design on it, and I had all intents to bring it here today, but I'd made a prior commitment to a friend of mine in Guerneville, or Guerneville, as they say on the CNN. Or Guerneville, as some people want anyway. As a way of honoring the World AIDS Day, she has a gallery there, and she, on World AIDS Day, hangs Names Project quilts over the artwork to honor a day without art for World AIDS Day. And I'd made that commitment, so I couldn't back down. But I'd like to quote the inscription at the bottom of the quilt, if I may. That the deafening silence will one day end. Do what you can. In closing, AIDS awareness for me is compassion. And I feel that from compassion is love. From love is anger. Anger that this disease destroys so many young, rich, fruitful lives. From anger springs action. And action equals life. Do what you can. Thank you.
Please welcome back to the podium Mr. Arthur Henry for some special presentations. Arthur.
At this time, I would like to present a special souvenir album of today's ceremony. The album contains a sheet of AIDS awareness stamps and a special cachet designed at the San Francisco Post Office. So, first, the Honorable Nancy. Mayor, if I could go in here, sir. support of this AIDS awareness, we'd like to present him with the large. Last but not least, Scott Tucker.
Thank you, Mr. Hambrick. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes today's dedication. Special thanks go to Glide Memorial Church staff members Alan White, Leon Kuz, Daniel Bates, and Gene Jackson for coordinating today's program. The first day admission stamp is available at our postal station here in Freedom Hall until 1 p.m. and at postal facilities located throughout San Francisco and the Bay Area all day. On behalf of Reverend Williams, I invite you to join us in celebration at a reception at Freedom Hall. Thank you very much.